many of you are fans of detective shows, but if you picture the kind of the typical show that's out there where they're trying to break their suspect in the interrogation room and get him to confess, and all of a sudden, after a lot of frustration, your main character walks in, or Dr. So-and-so walks in, and they're going to hypnotize the person and make them tell them the truth. And I can tell you that someone who has done some work in clinical hypnosis, that is probably one of the most frustrating, unrealistic things I've ever seen portrayed on TV. And it's probably one of the ones that, TV's been kind of addressing various things as time goes by, but it's one of those ones that I just never see addressed. Kind of this idea that putting a person into a trance makes it so that you can tell them to do anything you want. Probably one of the more recent examples was that new, well, it's not new anymore, but the Jordan Peele movie Get Out, where she uses hypnosis to stop them from moving and to do all of these things. And the reality is, hypnosis doesn't do that. Hypnosis is basically assisting a person into a state we call a trance, which is something that we all naturally experience periodically throughout our lives. So driving down the road, it's a long trip, it's highway, and nothing's happening, and all of a sudden you're thinking, wait, how did I get from A to B? I don't remember driving from A to B, but I'm here and I'm safe. But I don't know what happened. You slipped into a trance driving down the road. Your brain just sort of, dropped into that space of deep relaxation, and you came out of it and you didn't realize how much time had passed. When you do slide into that trance state, there's part of your brain, and we call it a bit of a watcher or a governor in your brain that is always awake and always watching. So even if someone is in a trance state, I cannot, and no one can, make them do anything they don't want to do or wouldn't naturally do. So for example, if you think about the hypnotists you see on stage, where they bring people up and they tell them to, I don't know, talk into their shoe like it's the phone, or dance, or whatever. If you're someone that, okay, you might be willing to do something like that to be silly, or, most of us, we'd dance if somebody told us we should. Then that's something that you may do when you're in a trance. But if they were to ask those people to do something like, say, remove all their clothes, nobody would do it. It wouldn't matter how good the hypnotist was. It wouldn't matter how deep of a trance they were in. That governor part of your brain is going to say, well, no, that's not something we do. That's not something we're willing to do. And so it's not going to happen. So being in a trance state does not put you completely at the mercy of the other person. It simply drops you into a deep level of relaxation where sometimes you can, navigate around some of those defense mechanisms that we throw up when we are awake. So that's, I would say, sort of part one on clinical hypnosis and what a trance actually is. When they do brain studies, they actually find the brainwave level is just in between awake and asleep. So it's not quite into the sleep brainwaves, it's just in between. So we do actually slip into deep relaxation. We're just not completely vulnerable and 100% suggestible. So I'm hoping to explain a little bit more about this therapeutic technique going forward, just because I find this is one of the most misunderstood and one of the ones that has the most unrealistic expectations. So stay tuned.